Hey y'all, this is AL Big Madame. I feel like this is going to be a pretty short review on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I don't know what's going on. It just seems like it's just getting more and more blah as the season progresses, and I don't know what's going on with that, but okay. Y'all, it started out with Martell going to his mama's house, and he's like tidying up outside. He's like trimming some trees and doing all that. And so she ends up asking him to take a break and had made some tea. So they drinking some sweet tea. And then he goes to her and he was like, there's some stuff going on in my life that you know of, and the reason why some of it might be going the way it's going is because of my lack of a relationship with my daddy. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna try to reach out to him and talk to him and ask him what was going on with him back in the day. And because I don't know what's going on, I don't know why he went to prison. I don't understand, why he wasn't around. And of course, since he wasn't around, he never got any of the "I'm proud of you" and any type of congratulations, praise, and acknowledgement that he so desperately seeks. So she was like, "Well, I think it could be a good thing. He could teach you some things, and you could teach him some things." And I was looking like, okay, what can he really teach him? Because this man is in his 30s or 40s right about now. And he was gone for 20 some years, but okay, all right. But she was like, it could, be a good thing if you do meet up with him. So go ahead and try it out, see how it go. So I was like, oh Lord. And of course, she always asks how's Melody doing. So she was like, she fine, but we ain't good like that. And we've been going to counseling, and I don't know how it's gonna pan out. So whatever, y'all. Marcel took his wife's mother, of course, his mother-in-law, out to this place to eat. It looked like it's like the type of place where you do have to dress up when you go in there. Everybody was dressed up from what I could see. And I was like, okay. So he basically took her there because he felt like if he took her to that type of a public setting that she would be inclined to kind of not act a fool, cuss him out, go off, and be loud with him. And I'm like, if she the type of mama, like the kind of mama I know, she would cut up anywhere if she feel like she need to cut up, set it off, or whatever, especially when it deals with her child. So they talking, and he was like, I feel like you don't understand why you were brought here. And, he told her, like, you were here to help Tisha out because she has all this stuff going on now since she has gotten back in the workforce. And so she's under the impression that she's there kind of vacationing and she help out every now and again, but she ain't really here like that for them. And he was just like, I don't understand where she getting this from. She's supposed to be here helping us out. And then she read him, and I'm glad because she straight up told him, like, you're never around your kids. Like, I understand you gotta work, but don't sit up here and try to make it seem like you doing all that to the extent of where you ain't never around your kids, even when you at the house. I totally agree with that. My daddy worked very hard, all day at work, 9 to 5, and when he came home, he might have been tired, but we knew he was present. We knew he'd been at work. We didn't really bother him like that, but he still interacted with us. He always wanted to know if we'd been doing our homework, if we'd done chores. He wanted to be involved in our lives. He was very present. And on weekends when he was off, or whenever he wasn't doing his side hustle, which is still stuff he's doing now, even in retirement, which was like fixing people's lawnmowers and helping to build houses. Like, my dad is a jack of all trades. I can go on all day about the things he does, but in the meantime, in between time, my daddy was still very present. I think I've told y'all a story about one time he took all three of us, because there are three of us. I'm the oldest of three. And my mama was in the house, and we literally walked around the yard having family time. And as young as I was, I remember that like it was yesterday. Not because of one of the things that happened, which I'll tell you about in a minute, but it's just the fact that I really did appreciate, and I love the fact that he spent time with us. And like so many of my friends and other relatives, they did not have a present father in the home or their daddy was never around to begin with. They were just conceived and that was it. So I was one of the few people who had a present father. So I never understood people who did not have present fathers. My daddy was so proud to have children. He was so proud of us. He had pictures in his office when he was still working for the state of Alabama of us when we were children up until we graduated. Well, I graduated. I was the only one to graduate before he retired. But he had pictures of us throughout our lives up until he actually retired. He had pictures framed of our report cards. He had pictures framed of my perfect attendance certificates and other stuff like that. All kinds of things we would win in school, all things we done. He had all that stuff in his office. He had that stuff in his office at work and would go to work bragging. He had pictures of us in his billfold. Like, all kinds of pictures in his wallet of us. And at the drop of a dime, he would smile from ear to ear and show people pictures of us. I used to be embarrassed because of some of the pictures he had in there of me because of the glasses that I had to wear. Oh gosh, they ain't nothing like the glasses that I wear now. Oh Lord, if you know Myrtle Urkel had glasses that kind of looked like that and what older women would wear. Oh Lord, they was toe down. But my daddy would proudly whip them pictures out of me and pictures of my brother and my sister and show them. And I remember all this stuff. But like I was saying, that day when we walked around the house, a situation happened. He literally had my hand, and I don't know if he had my sister's hand and just had my brother walking too, but my hand was in his hand. We rolled up on a garden snake. I'm petrified of snakes. I snatched my hand out of my daddy's hand and ran as fast as I could to the house and was screaming. Of course, my daddy took care of it because he is a country boy and, you know, stuff like that don't scare him. He do what he got to do or whatever. But in that moment, like, he was just so, like I said, he's present. He is very much hands-on. I ain't never had no sexual situation happen. Like, all the things that other people recall about their daddy that are negative, I just cannot. Like, and I hate that. I hate that that happens to so many people. So y'all, I'm sorry about that. Because like I already told y'all, this video ain't gonna be long. Anyway, as far as content is concerned from this show, because ain't nothing going on with this show. But I digress, y'all. So anyway, Letitia's mama was like, look, your wife is doing a lot. And for you to say that you working and all that, that's no excuse. You should still be hands-on with your kids. You be at the house and don't do nothing with your kids. Your kids don't spend no time with you or whatever. And that was a good read and that was the truth. And she even brought up the fact, she was like, well, the reason why you ain't got no time is probably because of all these 20 girlfriends I hear about. And I was like, you better read. And then she said exactly what I've been saying the whole time. He might not have 20 girlfriends, but he got something. She said, I really feel like something going on. And she did try to ask him, like, you know, you could tell me, do you have something going on with somebody else? And of course, he evading the question. He ain't trying to answer. And he looking at her like, really? You gonna ask me that? And I'm like, yeah, she gonna ask you that. Like, what you mean? Y'all, I can't. Anyway, he's, you know, steadily trying to discuss what her role is, and he just feels like there was no reason for her to come down here because she's not doing what she's supposed to be there for. And I'm just like, Lord, this too much. Melody had a photo shoot, y'all. She went and got her hair done in a different way. She got a short, all the way blonde bob done in a wig form. And she discussed with the person who has been doing her hair, which is, I think, her husband's cousin or something. And she's the only one who's been touching her head for the longest. And so she was like, I want to do something new, out with the old, in with the new, and I got a lot of stuff going on, and, you know, I want to feel good and all this other stuff. So she'd have set up some kind of a photo shoot for herself, and I was like, okay, I guess if that's going to make you feel better, do what you do, girl. Kimmy and Maurice are at the house talking, and they're getting ready for the block party event that is going to have people to show up and participate in all kinds of little events, and also people to come and donate toiletries for women who, you know, can't afford them. and all that. So it's basically a back to school block party and everything roll into one. And I think that is amazing because a lot of people do not think about the toiletries and personal items that women and children need, especially the women or whatever, and the little girls. Because there were people I saw in the bags that some of the people donated tampons and maxi pads and stuff like that, panty liners. Those things are needed. I saw body washes and all that stuff, wipes. That stuff is needed. And that stuff can get very pricey. I know a lot of people would probably be quick to be like, well, you ain't got to buy all that stuff if you just get a Diva cup and all these other things that they are out with as far as the menstrual cycle goes, but that ain't for everybody. I know for me that would not work for me. I flow very heavy, TMI, I know, but for some of us, that's not going to work. Because I'm still going to be running to the bathroom like crazy trying to make sure it ain't tipping over. It's probably going to tip over. If it don't tip over, it's going to run over and do the most. So that's something I already know. And then it can be too messy. And don't nobody, like, there are too many factors and that's not for everybody. But like I said, I appreciate the fact that she came up with this event. But at the same time, she put the comeback group is going to be there, and Kimmy is actually in Tennessee at some women's conference. I think she's speaking there, so she's not there, which means her husband ain't there. Whether he was working or not, he ain't really trying to show up by himself. I think she's the one who pushes him to come to all them little events and stuff. I don't think he really be want to go most of the time like that. But she ain't there. Nobody actually showed up except for Martell and Melody and their kids. They were shocked to see them, but she had on t-shirts that were actually promoting her skincare line. And yeah. I didn't even know she had a skincare line, but I mean, that's neither here nor there, not that it matters. But anyway, before I get ahead of myself even further than I have, they were at the house, Maurice and Kimmy, and before the event started, they were trying to figure out, what they were going to do because they're trying to get ready and they want something to eat. And normally Kimmy takes care of the food, but he was like, oh, well, maybe I'll take care of that. I'll just get you something ordered in or whatever. And there's, I was about to say there. His son is there visiting for the summer and hopefully forever if he can have it his way. And they want to know what they're going to have. So she was like, oh, I want Mexican all day, every day. So you already know I can have that all the time. And so apparently the son likes sushi. So he was like, I think I can do that. So then Kimmy's like, okay, so what about my son? And so he was like, I think he would be fine with either one. And so she was like, nah. And I mean, they got into an argument. And so he was like, he's grown. Like, I'm pretty sure he can take care of himself. He is 21, like, for real. And he works. So I'm like, girl, you doing too much. But she just got to a point where she was like, everything is all about Monster and Kiowa and what they want, and that's it. And I'm kind of like the lowest on the totem pole. And I was like, girl, you over here, you need to pick your battles. Like, I feel as though she really was reaching when it came to that. And as far as all the examples that she has given and that we've seen her kind of be like, oh no, you're choosing them over me, it ain't enough for you to be like, you're choosing them over me. Like, girl, no. He chose you. He married you. Like, he's done with her. Like, what are you talking about? And in all honesty, he was saying that he would be able to pick from one of the two, or he would be able to get his own because he does work. He's 21. He can go and fend for himself. And he was like in the confessional, when I was 21 years old, I fend for myself. I took care of myself. And so she was like, well, we grew up in two different households and it's different over here. You do what you do. You do what you do, and this is what we do over here. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, y'all really over here going back and forth for nothing. And so it got to a point where she was like, look, I feel like a lot of apologies are needed because I didn't do nothing to this person. And every time I look up, they had something slick to say about me. And he was like, look, I don't know what you expect, but you might be sitting up here expecting something from somebody that you will never get. So I'm like, well, you right on that. So Martell, I guess, set up the date with his daddy, and they ended up having a fishing trip. So he picked his daddy up, and they went out into the middle of a lake or somewhere, and they were fishing. So they were talking, And, he was just like, this is what's going on in my life. And, you weren't around. And eventually he asked him, where were you? Where were you? Where did you go? Like, why did you go to prison? This man tried to say he went to prison for 20-some years for marijuana. For 20-some years. I understand that the laws have been very janky when it comes to stuff like that, but I really find it hard to believe that he went away only for marijuana for 20-some years. I feel like some other things happened. He might have murdered somebody. I don't think it was just marijuana. I think he was serving and slanging some other stuff. He could have very well been a pimp on top of doing other harder drugs out there slanging and serving people. And I'm just like, why are you trying to make it seem like it was only weed, sir? I don't believe you. I feel like Martell don't halfway believe that. Not for no 20-some years. You were gone for almost 30 years, sir. Not for weed. And, of course he said, he got into trouble multiple times, but dang, not 20-some years, though. Maybe 5 to 10 at the most. Like, if you really got in trouble every other day, every other month, or whatever, for years, okay, I get that. Not 20-some years. I refuse to believe that. So anyway, they talking, and he was like, look, I am proud of you because you didn't go down the same road that I went down, and it could have went a different way. So then in his little confessional, he was like, I'm glad that my daddy gave me the acknowledgement and told me that he was proud of me. I was like, Lord, I cannot. Like, you want too much. He do. Like, Martell be wanting too much. And you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. I'm tired. So anyway, the block party is underway, and it don't look like that many people are there, but there were like 20 vendors, and I'm like, whew, all them people there. Of course they wanted to give back, but at the same time, they're looking like, this ain't no crowd like that. And when Melody and them came, Melody was like, I'm disappointed. I thought that there were going to be more people here, which is true. It wasn't nobody hardly there. But Kimmy tried to make it seem like when she showed up, it wasn't nothing but a few people left. So she came at the end when it was over. So she can't really try to sit up here and read the situation when she wasn't there when it was really off and popping. But I don't really feel like it was popping like that the whole time, because she had this big space, and even the allotted amount of space that she wanted to have basically roped off to use at that, I don't know if it was a tennis place or wherever it was, some kind of outdoor space. I don't feel like there were enough people. There really weren't that many people there, in my opinion. But at least they were able to secure a lot of products for the women in need in their area. So I'm happy that she was able to get that done. So anyway, she was able to talk one-on-one with Kimmy, and she didn't mention that, to my knowledge. She didn't mention about how she was disappointed and the turnout was trash. But she was like, I'm disappointed because Letitia isn't here. And she was like, yeah. But I don't think she knew that she was in Tennessee or whatever for a speaking engagement, but whatever. And, at one point in time before the Holtz got there, Maurice took it upon himself to go and talk one-on-one with Kimmy's sister, Nikki. So she was like, he was just like, I want to know where we stand. And she was just like, well, my sister is upset because she feels as though you go and do things on impulse and you don't include her in any decision making. And just like the situation with your son and Kaiwa moving here, she had no idea. She felt like she was blindsided. So basically, as long as my sister is good, as long as you take care of my sister, I'm good. I'm here for you. And so he was like, oh, you ain't got to worry about that. And in a little confession, he was like, I know her sister, and she good. She all right. And I'm like, you don't see what we see, because she ain't all right. Anyway, so at the end of the event, Melody, I was shocked. She actually was like, well, how can I help? I'll help break some stuff down and clean some stuff up. So I was like, oh, because she don't really seem like the type that'll help to do all that. She seemed like the type that'll come and mess up some stuff and walk on off. I don't know. No, excuse me. I hate when stuff is like right here. I just gotta get it off. Anyway, y'all, they ended up having a meeting about the comeback group. And before everybody got there, which was at Holt & Holt, they wanted to have it at their, office. Before they got there, Melody and Martell were talking, and at first it seemed like they were going to have a united front, and Martell kind of made it seem like, I'm fine with kind of dissolving our part of it and be done. But then when everybody got there, people were just acting so excited about it. And they were like, oh, I think we can revitalize it. We can come back together. Everything will be fine. And then once he sensed that there was some hesitation again and pushback again from Melody, they ended up doing a sidebar. And so she was like, look, I don't want no parts of this. I feel like we bring the most to the table and they are benefiting off of us. So I don't see the point in us continuing on with them. And, for some reason he didn't hear that. So when they went back in there, he gonna say, we are here for it. We are gonna stay on. And so she was like, no, I still have my same stance. So I don't know where he coming from with that. They had like a little spat in front of everybody. And so she was like, I don't understand why you are under the impression that we are on board with this. Like, we are individuals, and since I don't know where our relationship is going, on top of the fact that I ain't here for this situation in general, I don't know why you think that I would go along with what you're saying. So I was like, oh my gosh. So everybody in their feelings, and they're still divided. And Letitia got tired of her spirit, was like, yeah, I think it's time to go. She got up and everything. So when they left, Martell and Melody were talking, and they got into it. And Martell was like, you supposed to follow my lead. And she was like, I'm not finna follow your lead. That's the problem. I've always followed your lead, and look where it got us. Look at our personal situation now. You know what I'm saying? Every time I look up, I give you chance after chance. You over here giving these people chance after chance, all because they batted some eyelashes and smiled in your face. And so he was like, well, I'm giving you chances too. And so she looked at him like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. And so she read it and was like, I know I've given you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chances. So I don't know why you're trying to make it seem like I'm the bad guy. I have no problem with second chances, but this situation isn't working. Why are you trying to push for it so hard? And it doesn't make sense. And like she did say, I ain't gonna lie, I do agree with her in the fact of everybody's benefiting off of them. Like, they are the ones bringing the absolute most to the table. Ain't nobody here for everybody else. That's a part of the comeback group. When they've heard of the comeback group in the past, it seems like they were the ones bringing the most to the table. And despite the fact that it is supposed to be about the community and positive images that being seen in the community and the initiative that they love to talk about so much, they aren't on the same page, and it's just not working. But anyway, y'all, pretty sure that was the end of the episode. It was quite boring, and I had to throw some extra stuff in there trying to get some time on here, because I've been noticing that my videos for this it's been getting ridiculously shorter. And I was like, oh Lord, is that all that happened in the episode? But yeah. Anyway, despite how boring it was, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Y'all let me know down in the comment section if y'all think the comeback group is going to ever stand a chance of really coming back together. Do you think that the Holts are going to stay married? Also, he let them know that, his phone number had been changed because, Marcel brought it up, talking about, oh, I saw a new number. I saw you texted me from a new number. So he's like, yeah, man, I got that number changed. And apparently Melody keeps the text messages as a reminder or whatever, and she has her moments where she goes back and looks at them. And it's kind of like she goes through that hurt all over again. I ain't gonna lie, I've done that before with like pictures and things that people have done. It's like, why are you doing that? In a sense, you are hurting yourself over and over again. You keep reliving that moment, but that's just her process. So, I mean, either one day she's gonna get over it or she won't. So he just gonna have to deal with whatever gonna happen and hope that he's done enough to salvage their marriage. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Like this if you want to. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.